Welcome back to Judith Plains, Montana. I'm BP, and this is the 555 Challenge. A sunny March morning as we get to work on the farm. Need to get some straw into the animal pens, and as always, the Pro Bale is the way to go. I just never remember how to turn it on. Let's see, that seems to have done something effective. There we go, and looks like we need one more bale. We have a bunch of animal work to do today. We have the updated realistic livestock mod installed, have a bunch of messages we got to get through, need to get the herdsman hired to manage our animals. Oh yeah, and now I'm remembering why we don't do this with this tractor anymore, because we have the dual narrow tires. So we're going to go down to just narrows, and let's jump back in and get everything attached again, and we should be good to go. Oh, there we go. Tires fit right through the door like a champ. And bales down. All of those got taken. That is great news. So as I was saying, we need to get the herdsman hired. We've got sheep and goats. We've got chickens, cows in one pen, and water buffalo in another. And it is great to have all of those animals, but they are becoming a full-time job, and we could use some help here on the farm. Is that the last of the bales? Let's see. Sure seems like it. Oh, one left. We'll have to come back and grab. So I went ahead and I sold all of the sheep and goat rams this morning. We sold 61 sheep rams for $23,000 and 13 goat rams for an additional $14,500. So definitely have way too many male animals on the farm. We need to get rid of our bulls in the cow and water buffalo pens as well. They are all related to the other animals in there. So while they are valuable to us as far as their market value, they have no breeding value to us. So want to get that rectified so we're not paying to feed a bunch of animals we're not looking to take care of. Let's get all the partial bales out of here. Is one of my favorite pastimes, is getting the partial bales out. All right. Can we take mixed bales? Let's see. We're about to find out. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It'll take mixed bales. Pro Bale is great, guys. Black sheep modding, if you're not familiar with it, give it a try. You will not regret it. So let's go ahead and head up to the buffalo barn, get these animals some additional straw. The food is good in all the pens except maybe the sheep, and we really might be in a situation where we're going to have to consider buying that baler today, because we just don't have. And they took all of them. Man, how much? Let's get out of here. Maybe we need to do one more round. Let's see how much straw they have. They have 94,000 out of 100. No, they are good to go. Not a problem. All right, let's get this put away. Let's go check on the animals. We also need to get propane today. The corn dryer is out from the initial time we filled it at the very, very beginning of the series. So need to get that refilled. We have, I think, about 7,500 liters of corn in the corn dryer that we are going to need over in the whiskey factory. We're still good. We're not, the production is not held up because of it, but eventually it will be. So Love the Pro Bale, got the job done, and got the animals the straw they need. Back on single tires in the Versatile, which is great news. So let's start with the cow barn and see where we get to. So the cow barn here, let's start with the messages. Let's start with that. So I have been neglectful in getting these animals treated when they've gotten sick. We updated the mod, and I hadn't really put together that we had the new update in, wasn't paying much attention. So here we go. So we have had some animals die due to getting sick. So we have one contracted mastitis and one contracted hoof and mouth. So let's head over to the animals and let's see about figuring out which animal is sick. And we can get them treated here real quick. Here is one, and it is infertile. So this is a feature that I'm not sure is new to realistic livestock, but I haven't noticed it before this most recent update. We have infertile animals. So that animal is infertile and sick. We're just going to sell them. Don't have any desire to have an infertile, sick animal on the farm. Doesn't make any sense to me. Why pay to treat them? Why pay to feed them if they're infertile? So here's another one. Man, we have to go through all of this, looking for disease and infertile animals, because there's no point in keeping those here. So making good progress. We have a lot of animals to get through here. So as you scroll down, I'm watching the disease category. There's the one with mastitis. All right, it is 004, and it is part of the Black Angus. I mean, that's a $5,900 animal, and it is 43 months old and pregnant. Do we just sell it? I think we do. I think we just sell the sick animals, at least until we get it under control. I would love if the herdsman would treat the animals as well, but that is not yet a feature. Just going through, once again, all the animals that are infertile, we are going to get rid of. There's another one that was sick. Excellent. So we get that cleaned up real quick and in a hurry. All right, so those animals are sold. We have no sick animals. We have no infertile animals in here. All of that is taken care of. Made about $20,000 selling animals. So what do we want the herdsman to do? We want the herdsman to buy animals, and we want him to spend, I'll give him up to $10,000 a month. Max animals, I don't want him to buy more than 2 a month. Breed any, no diseases, and I only want him to buy males that are 18 months up to, let's say, 2 years and 6 months, so a 1 year range. The quality needs to be highest or above in every category. All right, and he is going to do that. So that's perfect. So he's going to start buying as many as 2 animals, 2 bulls a month. Have to make sure you hit apply so you don't lose your changes. And we're good to go. Now, selling, we want him to sell, all right, and we want him to sell males that are less than 18 months. Let's see, 0 to 1 year. We basically want him to sell animals that are 1 year old. So we'll raise the calves in this barn until they're 1 year old, the males, and then we'll sell them. So any of those qualities, we don't care. We're going to raise them and go from there. So that's excellent, and that's what we're going to do here. So let's make sure enabled. Yep, everything is good. So the cow barn is all cleaned up and good to go. I did sell all the roosters out of the chicken coop earlier. The chicken coop always causes some frame lag. It's really funny. And then I bought 3 chickens, and I named them February 1, February 2, and February 3, so that in a year or so we'll come in and we will just sell all the roosters, including those, and replace them. Running over to the buffalo barn. Lots of animal work this morning, guys. Head over here. Let's check this out. Some messages. No illness. Lots of births and pregnancies. That is great news. We did have a death. Died to an accident back in December. Okay, so let's check our animals. Here we go. Again, infertile. Any animal that cannot reproduce should just be sold. I wish that was something we could control with the herdsman. Just identify the animals and get rid of them, because there's just no value in keeping them. So we're not expecting any diseases, so we're really just looking for any of the red tech. So it's 2 animals, not a big deal, $3,000. Now jumping into the herdsman here, we want him to buy animals. Again, we'll give him up to a $10,000 budget and up to 2 animals per month. Breed, we only want water buffalo, and then we only want male, and we want the ages to be between 1 year and 18 months and 2 years. All the qualities have to be highest or above. I should say high or above. Do we want to go even higher than that? Do we want to make it harder on the water buffalo? I think we do, because there's such a small, actually, one we probably won't get any. We had this problem over on the Realistic Cattle Ranch. You have to keep some of the options open. Apply that. Now, selling animals enabled. I mean, I don't really care how many animals he sells. Only males, and we want him to sell anything between 1 year, basically at 1 year of any quality. Good to go. All right, and then lastly, we'll run over to the goat and sheep barn. Now, I've not done this with goats and sheep because they share a pen, so I'm not sure if we're going to get separate controls for the herdsman or if we're going to get all the same controls. So let's see. Do need to go through the animals very quickly and see if we have... There's one with a disease. For today, we're selling all animals with diseases or that are infertile, because it just doesn't make sense to start the treatment, because I haven't been doing it, so I don't know how old or how long they've been sick. So it's just not worth it. Now, interesting, not a single infertile animal so far here. So that is maybe something that only is going on with cows and water buffalo. Wouldn't make a ton of sense to me, but could be the case. There's another sick animal. We have so many animals in this pen, I think over 500. There's no point in risking the other animals getting sick to keep a couple of random sick animals. So almost done. Looked away for a second. Want to make sure we didn't miss anything. Perfect. Sell selected. 3 animals, $320. Not a big deal. Coming in here, yeah, foot and mouth, foot and mouth. 3 babies died at birth. That's terrible. 2 babies were sold for overcrowding. Yep, so we got all that taken care of. Now, coming into the herdsman, let's see what we have here. Enabled. He needs a much smaller budget for buying rams, because we just don't need that many. Breed any. Male between... Ooh, when do they reproduce? 1 year and 18 months again, and we want high or above on everything, and I think this is going to allow us to... Definitely not average. Definitely want it better than that. Apply. Now let's go to sell. Enabled male animals, and that's going to be anything up to a year. So basically when they hit a year, they get sold, and that's going to help keep our male animal population to a minimum. So that is all set. Make sure we hit apply. Rocking and rolling. Now on to the farm work. As you guys saw, we got the field across the way planted, and the question is, what did we plant in there? Well, I had a thought. Last year, because we knew we were combining fields before we got to the huge cornfield, the first portion of this was sunflowers, which we used in the sunflower oil mill, which made us a bunch of money. And now that that field is gone, we don't have a place for sunflowers. So the field across the river that you saw me plant on the time lapse, which I have since rolled as well, is going to be sunflowers. So jump over the creek. Here we are. We are in farmland 64, and it is sunflowers, 100% yield bonus, 100% fertilized, growth stage 1 of 8. It is 10.5 acres of sunflowers. So I did think about going back to cotton like we talked about last episode. I still sort of want to try cotton somewhere, but feel like we need a bigger field to make that worthwhile. So here we find ourselves with looking at new crops and new plants. So back at the farm, let's see, we got the rams all taken care of. We need propane, guys. So how are we going to handle getting propane? We could, I wonder what we have in the shop that might be able to handle propane. Got a couple of nice, that's a big Colossus forage harvester. Got some good tanks. This one only does water. 9RX, that is a big tractor. Not seeing anything in here that will do propane easy for us. So let's go into the tanks area down in the animal. And let's see. We have a couple of options. Judith Plains. So here's one that comes with the map. We have the big tanker, which we bought initially on sale, but it's so expensive. So we have the Judith Plains. That's 20,000 liters of propane. This one will do 8. I mean, 17 grand. I think that's the way to go. So let's see. Propane probably should be red or orange, something to alert people that we're... Oh, that's the rim color. All right. I was going to say, make the tank a bright color so people knew it was propane. That looks like a water tank. I'm not pleased with that. What else do we have? We have the Colossus liquid transport that does not do propane. That's interesting. We have the tank for the top kick, but that also doesn't do propane. Making it hard to find something that does propane. So liquids hauling pack, this will do everything. Just double checking where is, yeah, there's the propane, $25,000. Wheel setup, twin wheels. Yeah, let's do twin wheels. That seems like fun. Tank material, plastic, brushed steel, stainless steel. I think steel tank for sure. 8,000 liters seems like enough. 20,000 liters of propane. I think that's more than we'll use on a regular basis. Dolly locking pin, yes. Main color. Now here's what I wanted, like an orange tank, right? All right, it's going to be tank color, not main color. I always forget on these. It's silly that way. Chassis color black, rim color, we'll go with black. Excellent. All right, let's run up to the shop. $29,000. Let's get that purchased. Well, it is purchased. Let's get that picked up. So let's grab the Ford, and that can be bumper pulled. Oh, we didn't want to take the bed off, guys. Want to get rid of the fifth wheel. There we go. Or the gooseneck, I should say. All right, I'm going to run up to the shop and grab our new propane tank so we can get the corn dryer filled up. I'll meet you guys up there. I was just looking down at the mileage on our pickup truck. The first vehicle we ever drove on this map. We're at 196 miles. Feels good. I did notice last night after the episode that the Volvo has 500 plus miles on it. That truck has been put through the ringer on this map. It drives all over the place all the time for all kinds of things. So really fun little mod having the mileage down there. And as far as I can tell, based on the actual size of the map, it is relatively accurate in its mileage as though we were driving to these places. So very, very cool. So here we are. Grab our propane tank. Got a little excited there. Gave a little kick at the back. Let's go grab some propane at the... Is it the animal dealer down here? I forget which store it actually is, but the propane from one of those early episodes is right down here. Half off appetizers, 2 to 5 p.m. daily at Applebee's. Tractor Supply, that's what it is, not the animal dealer. So, propane at Tractor Supply makes sense. I'm going to assume that the trigger is right here. Propane for the win. I wonder how much this costs. I don't remember how much propane is. So we're getting 8,000 liters. $2,800. That's not bad. I feel like that's pretty reasonable. So Can we back up a truck or a trailer with a dolly? Ooh. Now this is supposed to have the dolly locking pin, right? Let's see. Block trailer. Did that work? It did not work, not even a little bit. But it's alright. We have the horsepower to just do it. Didn't hit the tree, but got really, really close. Alright. 8,000 liters of propane. Heading back to the farm. We'll get the corn dryer going. We should check both the beer and the whiskey productions to see where they are, because the beer production, we don't need to keep leasing it if we're not producing anything. So once it burns through that initial round of barley, we can stop the lease on it and save ourselves some money. I did check the Jack Daniels factory last night, and it was still running strong despite needing the additional about 7,000 liters of dry corn from the corn dryer that was not distributing because we were out of propane. So all good there. Now the last piece for today is we had a wild amount of success last episode paying down our loan. And I had been so reticent to pay off the loan because it was so big. It just felt like it was inconsequential to throw $20 or $30 or $50,000 at the loan. And after making the payment last night of $50,000, it took 10 payments off, almost a year. So I'm inclined to check our good pricing, see if there's anything left to sell this episode, and even if there's not, I think we could make another $50,000 payment and really start cutting down on this loan. If we get the loan paid off in the next year or so, that would be absolutely incredible. And I think we have some big, big paydays coming in. Our clothes and our wool and our fabric are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have about $500,000 in clothing, I think about $400,000 in fabric, and another couple $100,000 in wool as well. So definitely have some money coming in where we could make a big payment. If we got the loan paid down enough, we could make that happen. So let's get the propane in. All right, the propane's going in. That's great news. So let's jump into the corn dryer. Okay, the corn dryer is on, 7,557 liters of corn left because we were out of propane. It is on distributing. Yep, it is on. We're good to go. Now, the beer factory, we're out of barley. So there's no point in leasing the beer factory. We should go over to the beer factory and see if there is anything else that we need to have, which... trying to get to the Yuengling factory. There we go. Let's sell the Yuengling beer factory. That's just the lease ending. Now let's visit and let's take a quick run around and see if there's beer over here that came out overnight. There is. So we have beer. That is good news. That is good money for us. It's not a terrible value, actually. Goes up to Casey's gas station, 9,000 liters worth 15 grand, or it's worth, we're losing $98 to sell it today, so that's not too bad. Like I said, guys, close right now today, $603,000 at its best price, $643. Here we go, fabric, $438,000 at its best price, $470, and that is coming up. Hay, we're not going to sell. What else has high value? Rice flour, we could sell. The price isn't particularly great. Not overly worried about it. I did turn the rice production down in the greenhouse even, and it's still pushing us that high. $20,000 in sunflower oil. Probably should just save that for next year. We're not ever really going to sell total mixed ration. And then we have 308,000 liters of wool, which almost seems inaccurate. I'm wondering if the lazy distribution is duplicating our wool, because I just don't think we have 300 pallets that we brought over. I mean, we have bring over 10 to 20 a day, but I just don't think it's that much. So let's see if we can get over the fence. One quick jump, we win. All right, so we'll get the propane stashed. it's probably worth running the beer up to the factory, or up to Casey's, just to get that sold today to bring in a little bit extra money. Not even really sure where we're going to park our propane trailer. We're not going to need it, but I mean, it's year 4 and we've only filled up twice, so it doesn't seem as though that's going to be an item we're going to use a lot, I guess. So let's see if we can actually get the axle lock to work. That might have done it. Oh yeah, it did. It's behaving strangely but predictably. Yeah, it does not like having the axle lock on. Wow, that you see it skidding around back there, guys. That is funny. That is not. It's like sliding. It's like almost like the wheels aren't even turning. All right, let's see, and bring it back around and release the axle lock. Pull this a little bit forward and let's put it down and be done. So I think what we do here is let's remove the lazy distributions, because I don't think that's right with the wool. It could be. We could have that much wool. I just don't feel like we should. So what we'll do is we'll park here. Let's grab the Beast, because we haven't driven that in a while. It's 51 degrees. Nice spring morning here in March. Let's grab our eggs, run them down to the distribution center. Then we'll grab the top kick, which would be the perfect size for running our beer to Casey's. I would love to use the new reefer. Any excuse to use it, but it does seem like loading up a semi-truck with 10 pallets when we have the top kick is probably not the right idea. So here's that lazy distribution right here. As you can see, the trigger goes over the existing spawn point and then it sends stuff out. But I just don't feel like it's working that well. So let's remove it. We can always add it back. I'm interested to see how much wool we're actually... Oh, and I can show you guys the new gate. Haha, look at this. So come in here, pop our new gate. This is what I built when I was trying to get the tanker to take the milk automatically over to the dairy, but it was not working. So, oh, don't tip it, don't tip it. Oh, you guys see that save? Oh, amazing driving. Amazing driving. Saved the eggs and everything. Glad we had our load strapped down. Let's sneak in here. Boom. Eggs are in the distribution point. Great news. We can take the top kick right down. We can actually sneak out the back. Wait, can we make this corner? Oh, yeah. Great. So let's go grab our beer and run it up to Casey's and get that sold. And I think that'll put us at about 150 grand. I think we put another 50 grand on the loan, guys. I can't imagine it hurts us. I mean, the big thing right now is getting that loan paid off. Now, what we can do while we're here is let's send this guy out to do his milk run. I have not done that yet today. Did I save the milk run? No, I saved the slurry run. All right, so let's go. He's going to fill at the dairy barn. He's going to dump at the dairy. It's going to be milk. And he's going to do that once. No repeat. Okay. That's how we put stuff on auto drive, so we can just send it off and let it do its thing while we're working in the background. We got to beat him to the street. Oh, yeah. Whew. It was close, guys. Top kick was quick enough. Won the drag race. Probably not a good idea to cut off your own truck and damage your own equipment, but we made it. All right, last load of beer for this season. We got 15 pallets last episode, and we got, let's see, what is that? 1, 2, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 9, so we got 24 pallets of beer this year. So someone will have to remember that, because in a year I'll be talking about it again when we harvest the big barley field and expect to have much more barley going into the beer factory, and hopefully we have double that. It'd be great to have 50 pallets of beer next year instead of the measly 24 we got this year with the residual barley that didn't go into the Jack Daniel's facility. The fact that we can take the barley and just use it. Whatever we don't use in the Jack Daniels facility goes into the Yingling facility is great. Love that feature. So the other thing we could do, if we don't want to pay the loan, is we could grab the baler to keep the sheep fed. But I think we should pay the loan down this month because compounding interest works in your favor when paying early, and it's less beneficial when paying late. So if we bought the baler this month and waited and put another payment next month, because we know we're going to have a bunch of sales with the wool and the clothes and the fabric, I think that we want the payment this month to avoid the compounding interest factor. So Top Kick was such a good purchase for the farm. This size truck was exactly what this farm needed. If you guys are looking for a medium-sized truck that pulls great, this is the winner. $15,000, $151,000 in the bank. Let's just make the loan payment now before we do anything silly. So if you look here, we made our payment overnight down to 67 payments, $3.3 million. Let's do a special redemption, another $50,000. Took us from 67 to 66. So man, only took one payment off. Not nearly as exciting as the last round, but we are being responsible adults with our finances despite our desire to buy more and better equipment. So that is done. Leaves us with $101,000 in the bank, which should be plenty to get us through the next month because, as I said, we have clothes and fabric and wool available next month. Now, assuming that the wool was reproducing because of the multiple productions and passing it along, I don't think we're going to ever sell any wool. I don't feel good about that. The clothes and stuff, we are absolutely limited by the productions. They're just sort of like the milk and the dairy production, the one that was on the map we had to deal with earlier when we put in our own dairy. We are able to fill the spinnery and the tailor shop and keep them busy. I'll show you guys. Let me just get pulled off over here. Can tell the dairy truck came through here because the signs are down. So if you look at our productions, let's see, we're leasing the tailor, so it still has residual 13,000 liters of fabric in here, and it's at 300%. The spinnery has a residual 70,000 liters of wool in here, and is at 300% down here. So even cranked to the max, we're not getting through that. And the fact that there's only 70,000 liters of wool in the spinnery, and we're supposed to have another 300 in the distribution center. Like I said, those numbers don't really add up for me, but we'll leave the wool in there. We're going to keep doing sheep, so we won't really get ahead on it, but we also won't take advantage of it either. So, all right, back to the beast, zipping around, getting stuff done. I mean, we have 101,000. We could, and I said we were going to be responsible like 10 seconds ago. Could we sell something and buy the new baler? We certainly could. We could sell sunflower oil down at the Hobson General Store. Give us 20 grand. It wouldn't cover our loan payment, though. Man, it's just not going to cover our loan payment. I don't want to sell the fabric or the clothes early. Yeah, I think at this point, anything we sell, we're going to be losing money. Let's get the sheep topped off again. I've been using loose hay, which is fine. Now, interestingly, I had some comments on one of my previous videos on this series about how grass is always 100% for sheep and goats, and I kindly replied that's not always the case on every map, and in many cases it is. And the comment may have actually been made on the Homestead series, but this map, if you look at the goats and the sheep here, and I'll show you right here, they are 80% on grass, 80% on meadow, which I can never get to grow, and 100% on hay. So we have to feed these animals hay to get the most out of them. And since they are here to make us money and keep our productions going, we are here to get the most out of them. So jumping in here, we have 1.8 million liters of hay, excuse me. No risk of running out of hay anytime soon. I do wonder, what do we have as far as TMR in here? 1.7 million. So we are great with our animal feed. We just need to get it to them. Probably should top off both the cow and the buffalo barn. And then, as I said, my goal is to get this shed jam-packed with hay bales. I guess we could lease the baler, but I just feel like we're going to use it long term. It's going to be something we need. I don't want to feed the sheep and the goats loose hay because we can't leave a stack in the middle to let it fill. And if I ever miss a day, I would feel bad if they ran out of food, because like right now, I mean, I had them up to 37,000 liters of food last night, and we're going to put just under 20,000 liters in. So let's see. That means they had 9,000 liters. So they ate 30,000 liters of hay in a month, which is great because we have 500 of them, and I did just sell a bunch of the male animals, so that won't be a big deal. But if we could leave $40,000 or $50,000 or 40 or 50,000 liters in bales in the trigger, and they could eat them as they got to them, I think that would be better. We don't ever want to risk having animals die or losing production due to not having them fed. So I do think the baler is a necessity. I've been trying to figure out another way around it. I mean, we could just take the hay out, dump it on the ground, and drive our baler over it, but that seems like not something we should do. So I think we'll probably just spend the Colossus baler that has the loose fill on the back that makes round bales is about $105,000. So we'll probably just end up picking that up either next episode or the one after that. If we end up selling all of the clothes and fabric next episode, we will have, you know, north of $1 million. I think we buy another big piece of land and we look at getting that baler, and that will make us, that'll put us in a really good spot. I feel like we're in a good spot with the herdsman now as far as him buying animals and selling animals for us. We'll have to see if we even want to keep the male animals for a year, because it's probably not as big a deal in the cow barns because we have the space, but in the goat and sheep pen, we definitely are running low on space. So keeping them there for a year and not getting more female animals is probably not the best plan, but we'll see how all of that shakes out. So this should be, no, not even close to the last one. They're almost 50, so this will take them to 70. This is why we don't want to be doing loose stuff, because you're seeing them having to take all these trips, versus I could have dumped a couple of bales out, thrown them over here, or grabbed the Pro bale on the Versatile and grabbed 4 bales at a time, stacked them up, and gone. Because 4 hay bales is going to be, what are hay bales? 7,500 liters each, the big square ones. So we could do that. Now, it is interesting that the stationary baler we're talking about buying, that goat's moving in slow motion, nothing to see here, folks, makes round bales. So we may have to grab the other Pro bale, which would be sort of fun to have and play with, to have both the round and the square Pro bale grabber, because I don't think I've used the round Pro bale grabber ever. And the square one works so well and is such a good mod. Yep, there's the slow motion goat. The sheep's moving fine. It's just that one goat stuck in a time warp. Alright, this is going to be the last round of hay regardless. This will take them up to almost 90,000 liters of hay. I think that was a good episode. Had to get back into the husbandry stuff. Been so stuck in the field work and the selling of our goods, trying to keep things moving, that we sort of got neglectful on our animals. They are back in good shape. They've always been well fed and taken care of in that regard, but as far as min-maxing their return to us and their value to us on the farm, I think we're in a much, much better spot. We also got the propane picked up and the corn dryer topped off, so we can get that going. Picked up the last of our beer, got the herdsman hired on a bunch of different barns so that we can get new animals in. I'm excited for him to be buying some bulls to keep our breeding stock in order, and we'll go from there. But thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to drop a like and turn on notifications for more videos. Channel memberships are available if you'd like to support my content further, and channel members do get early access to upcoming videos. That's it for this episode, guys, but I'll see you in the next one.